got a call from Whitney Houston.
My first day of my internship, I had to shop for Nicki Minaj. I'm from Brooklyn, and everybody there was like loud and gaudy and seen and money-making Manhattan.
To put into perspective, A$AP Rocky went to our high school, $1 million worth of jewelry, and they were like, yeah, get there.
Get on the train.
Get on the train.
Hey, Wayfair.
Hey, Sim.
So I guess we need to tell the audience first why we're even here.
Right.
I felt like fashion is super boring, super buttoned up. I just feel like nobody's having fun anymore. Remember like fashion night out? We used to be able to go to the boutiques and, you know, get all the samples, take pictures with the designers. Even the way we dressed, it was fun. It was colorful. I just feel like that's missing.
I miss fashion night out. Like, that was the time to go into these stores and shop till you drop. I definitely think that what we need now is a little more razzle dazzle in fashion, more relatability. Like, let me, you know, play around with colors, and it's not just all of these trendy moments. So I'm glad that we're doing this.
That's the thing. The trendy word, it's like I get it. Yes. It's like I get it, but you know, I don't always want to be on trend. I want to be Sin. Like I want to be me, even if it's up to date, but it's still unique to me. So I just feel like we're the perfect duo to do so. And we've been doing this for so long that we can give a little advice.
So see, let's get into that. So Sin, you know, growing up in New York City, did it have any effect on what you wanted to do? Like, how did you get into the fashion scene?
It's Brooklyn and no. You know, me being from Brooklyn, I just feel like most people that are not necessarily from there, they automatically know like Bed-Stuy, Biggie's from there. It was Coogie's, it was Constructs. We did Banson's, we did Iceberg, things like that. And so, yeah, I just felt like living in Brooklyn, I got a little bit of everything because it was culture, it was colorful, it was fun and fashion.
I don't know if everyone knows this, but Sin is a major fashion stylist for some of your favorite celebs, like Nicki Minaj, Little TJ, you name it. So between the both of us having like 10 plus years in the industry, we really wanted to kind of showcase what that experience was like throughout the years.
And for you guys that don't know, Wayfair is a celebrity event producer. She has produced events for Atlantic Records, Apple, Samsung, you name it, all the big boys. So, you know, I think that this is the time for us to finally come to the forefront and show you guys what we have to offer.
You know what? When we think about where we've been to where we are now, right? What was it like growing up? Was styling your dream?
I feel like I've always loved fashion. I didn't even know styling was a job, to be honest. I went to FIT. I applied there. That was the only college I applied to because I just felt like it was the mecca of fashion institutes. I applied to business. Luckily, I got in. And, you know, from there, I just navigated my way through. What was your experience like? Did you know, like, okay, one day I'm going to do this? Or was it kind of like the same for you?
Yeah, it was the same for me. I think I dabbled. I wanted to get into, I was convinced to be a journalist. Then I got into school and I was just like, oh, that's not for me. Then I wanted to get into fashion. I like interned at Glamour magazine, Isaac Mizrahi. Like,
really?
Yes. Could not do it. I had a great experience at Isaac Mizrahi, but Glamour magazine, it was cutthroat. So I think that's when I realized, like, let me see what marketing and PR is about. And I dabbled in that.
Okay. Is that when you ended up at Bad Boy? Or
That is. That's how I got my internship. I went to St. John's. I applied for an internship at Bad Boy. Got a call from an HR named Whitney Houston. So I immediately was like, what?
This is a joke.
Yeah, like at the time I was working retail at Century 21. Hate that store. And I was a security guard. Nobody knows this. So I literally stepped out. I was suited and booted in the front, catching thieves, right? Suited and booted in the front of the store. And I just looked. Something, I don't know what made me pick up because, I'm on the clock.
Right.
But I stepped out the door, took the call, and she was like, "Hi, I'm Whitney Houston from Bad Boy." I said, "Girl." Like, I thought it was a joke. And
right.
She wants the seriousness in her voice. Like, everything was...
It's real, girl.
It's
the
real.
Internship is real.
Yeah, I got in and the rest is history.
Would you say what was your first introduction to fashion for real?
I would say it's high school. My introduction to fashion was high school for sure. It was, someone that grew up in Queens, Far Rockaway, Queens. There's no fashion, honey. There's no fashion happening in Queens. I don't care what anyone says. This is back in the day. Maybe it's different now. But in Far Rockaway, Queens, there was nothing. And then I moved to Jersey and it was just worse. They were rocking finger waves and K-Swiss. Horrible. But when I walked into Humanities, which is on 18th Street in Manhattan,
we both went there, by the way.
Yes, it was. That should have been a fashion school, really. Everybody had on big boy Mermons, Pele's, Air Max 95s, you name it. I think my first day of school I had on Baby Fat, so I was just out of it.
Girl, Air Max 95s, that was my thing. I had them in every color. Unfortunately, my dad wanted a boy, so I got all the sneakers, I got all the Timbs in every combination, the beef and broccoli, the chicken and broccoli, the lo mein.
There's no Timbs named lo mein. That is crazy. Where were y'all getting these names from?
Girl, it's a New York thing. Maybe it's Brooklyn, because...
Oh, my God. If she does this one more time on this show... So what was your style like in high school? How would you describe that?
And just so you guys know, Wayfair and I went to the same high school, Humanities High School, shout out. But I would say getting to high school was a little shocking for me because I'm from Brooklyn and everybody there was loud and gaudy and seen and money-making Manhattan.
To put into perspective, A$AP Rocky went to our high school, so this is the level of competition we had.
That was the first person I ever saw shopping at Bergdorf's and wearing Montclair in high school.
Yes, it was crazy. Every day was a fashion moment for him.
And he was the first guy I saw with the doobie wrap.
Yeah.
I had never seen that ever in my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I would say in high school, I was just coming in, still a Brooklyn girl. So I had on, to be honest, coming in, it was giving, academics and constructs and DKNY, those kind of pieces. But I will say, jewelry-wise, I had every XO, chain, ring, bracelet. My grandma always used to say I was giving hood fly. So, I think in high school, that's where my style was shaped.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, how were you affording pieces in high school?
Look, all I know is that the beginning of the school year, my parents had a Macy's card. We would go all the way to 34th Street, rack up on Latique Grays and polos and my one pair of sneakers for the rest of the year. So for me, once I got my weekly allowance of $20, which is crazy to me.
I got the same thing.
Really?
But you know what? I swindled my granddad out of $20 too every week.
So you was getting 40. Wow.
I was up $5 a day.
Smart. So I would save all my money, go to lunch period, and play people in spades and crazy eights, double or nothing if I'm losing. And I was making my fashion cash until I save enough money for pieces.
Which is why you were always in my lunchroom, because...
Okay, not too much. My mom's watching this. I was in everyone's lunch period.
That is crazy. For me, I think I was braiding hair in the hood for fashion cash to get whatever I needed because I was not asking my mother for $600 products.
But to like go back to the cash part, I was also working retail. This is not all through high school, but tail end of high school, I was just like, I need to work these retail jobs so I can get some clothes. Why that was on my mind, I don't know.
Was there like any one piece or one pair of something that you were like, I have to get this and I'm gonna figure it out?
Evisu jeans. I had to get a pair. Evisu jeans and Prada. So my
American Cup.
Yes, American Cup Pradas, and everyone had them at school. But it was something about them. It was the sneaker to have at the moment.
Do you remember Ashanti's video when she came out and she had multiple pairs of American Cups in different color? When music videos. When you know what? And that goes back to hip hop culture in New York fashion, because we sat and watched music videos for fashion. Absolutely. She in that video introduced me to the patent leather version of American Cups. And I'll never forget. Me and my dad had an agreement. You get all A's on your report card, I'll buy you the patent leather American Cups, right? He didn't know how much they cost. I was acing every class. Got to Soho, went to the Prada store. That lady came with a tray for the receipt.
A tray? That's when he should have walked away.
He was confused. Why is she doing all that? Girl, he was shocked, but you know how it is. You get to the register, don't want to be embarrassed.
Yes.
Gotcha.
That was evil.
So, I think for me, my
Wait,
style,
what color?
White patent leather with the peanut butter around the laces.
Peanut butter laces?
And the gray mesh, child. Yeah, I was eating. I thought I wore them Pradas for 4 years straight.
My first pair of Prada were orange, and I wore them on my birthday.
Of course you would get orange.
Right? I just had to have a color. No one had that color, so I had to go cop that.
Okay. So I feel like high school, college is where, my fashion was kind of like born and shaped. And then, college days, where did you go to college?
I went to St. John's. So I went to St. John's. I was still working retail, and I would, funny enough, I would work purposely at the Barney's sample sale. Like, why did I need to work at Barney's? My first pair of Louboutins, wedge, zebra print, calfskin, was from a Barney's sample sale. And I only worked there to get the money to buy the fashion.
Discount. Ooh, child, not the zebra skin. It's giving Young Cookie Lion.
I was definitely Young Cookie. Okay, so you know what? I really need to have a moment of silence for Barney's. Because if you know, you know. It was a time.
It was so good.
It's a time. Y'all, I bumped into Sin at Bad Boy Records, and we at the top floor, I'm about to get on the elevator, and I just see racks like running, almost ran my feet over. She was pushing racks like taller than her with tons of clothes on it and in a rush. And I looked around, I said, wait, Sin, is that you? My goodness. What was your time like there?
Oh, it was a time. It was great. It was a lot. It was stressful. We were rolling racks down the street to his apartment. We were dressing multiple artists. My first day of my internship, I had to shop for Nicki Minaj.
That's crazy. First day?
First day, I was stressed, sweating, trying to figure it out. But all I knew was you cannot be the girl to bring the whack shit.
That's the worst thing as an intern. Failed, fired, on the spot.
Go home. Not for you.
Everyone's remembering that.
So yeah, I would say it was intense. We had days where I would never forget. One time we were doing Good Morning America, and it was 4 a.m. Rehearsals were done. He decided, I don't want the dancers to wear those shoes anymore. I want sneakers. Someone go to Foot Locker. And we were like,
4 a.m, what were you gonna do?
We did. Found a manager, came to 42nd Street, opened up, bought the sneakers, and made it on time.
See, this is a part that people don't know. Like, Everything isn't glitz and glams when it comes to working in the industry. Like, you put blood, sweat, tears. Like, I can't imagine. First of all, who was the plug?
Child, I don't know. The world of interning back then.
Dog eat dog.
These kids know nothing
dog
about
eat
it.
dog world. Okay?
Y'all know nothing about that. You guys want to get paid for things you don't even know how to do.
Look, I was working part-time, going to college full-time, and interning. There weren't enough hours in a day. And for me to make that happen, that's what we say when the work ethic back then.
I was eating dollar pizza across the street because I didn't even get a stipend, okay? So I was working to go to my internship. But you know what? I am grateful. That taught me how to figure it out, and it allowed me to have 13 years in a game. Thank God.
The fact that I was taking public transportation back then, there were no Ubers. So doing all of that, you know how many Metro cards?
Girl.
The whole,
I had to dump the Metro card and get a card, child.
Wait, you know what? I remember going on runs, and it wasn't at Bad Boy. It was like another fashion internship that I had. And I remember going on runs like with $1 million worth of jewelry, and they were like, yeah, get
on the train.
Get on the train. I was so scared. It was like Van Cleef, De Beers, Tiffany's. I had to make all of these drops on the train.
I know. Let me tell you something.
These young girls have it good because I'm sure they have like Uber accounts for businesses now.
Absolutely. They know nothing about figure it out. And if you lose it, you're fired and we're suing you and want our money. There was luxury in those bags, okay? I couldn't risk it. I would even call my mother, can you give me a cab?
A black car?
A taxi.
Do you know the sweat? I just remember sweating with $1 million in my pocket, looking around like, I gotta get this jewelry back to where I gotta get it to.
Girl, but you know what? It made us who we are, built character and strength. Would you say that got you into events? Or that is what made you want to get into events?
Yes, for sure. I think after that internship, I was like, my passion is in events. I felt like it was something I was good at, something that came naturally to me. Being able to know within like a 2-mile radius what who all the florists in the area were, what were the best gifts to give out at these events, you know, what type of registry Louis Vuitton has, like you name it. I had to know it. And I think it was that level of like being detail oriented, having composure. It could be tons of fires or everything going on at once, but I'm the person that's in the corner of the room that has it together and is not running around with a chicken with no head. No, I used to. At that internship, I was like,
Absolutely.
But it's almost like pushing yourself in a pool if you can't swim, because I can't swim.
I used to go to the store and spend hours. And my boss was like, what the hell are you doing? You still at that one store? You didn't find no... And I'm like, I didn't see anything. And he'd come and be like... Shoo, 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 shoo. So now I'm him. And I get it.
Because it makes you great at your job.
Yeah. It definitely, I just feel like these days, you know, the young people, they just don't understand you practice and practice makes perfect. They want notoriety out the gate. And I feel like us not having that made us who we are.
That, you know, having notoriety out the gate is not how we had it at all. We got it through the mud.
Right. No water.
Blood, sweat, tears.
What would you say, like, okay, after Bad Boy, what did that look like for you? Where did it take you?
After Bad Boy, I went immediately to Apple.
Okay.
Yeah, I started off selling phones and made my way on to the event team within 6 months, and the rest is history. I think doing events for brands where I'm able to storytell and bring the campaign visions to life is just something that I thrive in. So from there to Samsung, and even in between that, doing events for music labels, right? I had the background from Bad Boy, so you know, I'm working for companies and putting together album release parties, artist dinners. it came naturally.
That's dope. Wait,
Yeah.
Okay,
Working
congrats.
for the Vanity Group, you know, that's where I learned all my stuff. So giving credit where credit is due, where did you go from Bad Boy?
Girl, it was a little maze. You know, at first I went to Revolt TV. I felt great about that because I felt like this is the first time I'm seeing, you know, a Black man owning a television network, and I get to be a part of it the first year out the gate. So that's where I, you know, landed after my internship. I did that after being a junior stylist, you know, at Bad Boy for a little while. And then, you know, I started the host of the show every day. But I also, going back to Nikki, I had her on retainer for while I was at Revolt. And so with that being said, one day I got a call and I went to go see her and she was like, I think you should come work for me. I think you'll do well and, you know, what would you like to do? And that was kind of crazy because I've never had a client of my own. I've always been assisting.
So your first client out the gate is Nicki Minaj. That is insane.
My first client out the gate was Nicki. And I don't think a lot of people know that. So go easy on me, guys. Yeah, but I don't think a lot of people knew that. So, you know, it was a little crazy because it's like, you've never done this by yourself. You've always assisted. And so it became like red carpets, music videos, commercials, tour. Like,
so was this in New York or?
I had to pack up in 7 days and move to
LA. And tell me the difference between, you know all about New York fashion.
Yes.
When you went to LA, what was it given?
Not. No.
Like Jersey.
No, I will say like there are pockets in LA where they get it because of course wherever we are, you know what I mean? But I just felt like it was very relaxed. Let's say that. It was very relaxed, very comfortable, very demure. It just gave like chilling, you know, people wearing Uggs with shorts. That was the first time I saw that. You know, and the weather was crazy. It could be 95 degrees during the day, and then at night you need a leather jacket. So, you know, I had to get accustomed to that. Her and I, because she's from a New York girl too.
So she was still dressing in New York garb.
We were still giving New York fashion in LA and Beverly Hills. Shout out.
I love that.
Actually, I've had this question for a while. When I ran into you at Apple, what year was that? Or like, what was that time like for you? So just to set the scene, you guys, one year I had no idea Wayfa had moved to LA. She didn't know I did either. And I ran into her
again. So we ran into each other at Bad Boy, and then
I ran into her at Apple with my client, and she was like running around doing her thing. And I was just so shocked to see her and happy to see a familiar face. So, you know, like, what was that like for you?
To me, I felt like a fish out of water. I did not, you know, I felt like I didn't adapt to LA. I was very lonely. I couldn't, like, I'm a homebody, so I guess it's my fault I couldn't find friends. But it was completely different being from New York.
LA is cliquey.
Yeah. And then I felt like the hustle and bustle of New York City. I missed that so much. You know, walking into a store or speaking to a vendor and you need something done, it's done.
And you're in a rush.
Yeah, it's done immediately. You're not getting that.
No.
You're like, what
did you need? Okay, I'm going to go to lunch real quick. And then when I come back, maybe somebody can help you. That's what it's
We don't have that. But in New York, you automatically, you're like, do you have it in the back? Can you check 2 stores? You know?
Absolutely. Yes. And I love LA for the chill vibe. It's just not my vibe for work. For the work environment, it kind of pisses me off.
I moved back.
Same.
Yeah, but that was like 5 years in to doing that, and that was that was a good time for me. And even just bumping into you, and I'm so proud of you.
Oh, same.
Your resume is crazy. So seeing you in that moment, it just felt like, you know, go black girl. It felt like
yes.
It felt like
absolutely. Girl, I'm proud of us because we did that.
We did.
Okay, so now we're going to play a game of Most Likely To so that you guys can get to know us a little bit better.
I am so excited. And now let's get into our next segment, Fashion Tea, where we discuss current events and fashion trends. Sin, let's get into it. Oh, that's good. What's tea?
So in this segment, we're talking about re-emerging throwbacks and collabs. True Religion was one of them. That's the first one. Do you remember that?
I remember True Religion. Everybody had a pair. I mean, even on Canal Street. Like, it was all over. Is it back?
Girl, they are back, but they are new and modern and for the kids. Gen Z it is. I feel like when it was out, it was like hard blue denim, horseshoe colors. It was a little more expensive, I feel like, so we felt like it was the thing, or we just didn't have it, so it felt more expensive. But now they are giving boxer briefs, corduroy, bustiers.
Ooh. So it's not the nostalgic feel. It's like,
nah, I'd rather that.
It's more like, do you feel like it's like a rebranding?
To reemerge. Yeah. So, I mean, but
Let's see what it does.
Gen Z loves it. Next slide, Joy.
Sorry, yo.
Evisu. You remember that?
I remember Evisu. Is it Japanese denim?
I think so.
Because
it was
it's that
hard,
like, oh my goodness.
You damn near couldn't sit down, and it was bleeding all over your goddamn Timbs.
That's, my Air Forces.
My mother was annoyed. You're not getting another pair. You better figure it out.
They bleed, but they were it.
They were it. Even though it was just a stripe of paint, and that was hot for us. Oversized, baggy, but that was the thing. Loud and proud.
I'm glad they're back. I'm excited for this.
I am too. I like this reemerge.
The marketing is everything, so I think they're gonna do great.
Same.
All right, next slide, Joy. Ooh.
Child, you know how I feel about this.
I love Vincent. So seeing this new collab.
Mustard. Yes, I feel like DJ Mustard and Vincent just makes all the sense in the world. This moment right here also was tea, okay? This was the free Kendrick Lamar concert. I feel like, and I think it was like in the hood in LA, but it was a vibe. When Mustard came out in that Vincent, I got up out my seat and was like clapping, wow. But I can't wait. I feel like I'm excited to see what the collab is giving, because I feel like he has a lot of respect for, the company.
I love it. I need to get a pair, actually. I don't have a Vincent.
Child.
I know.
You from Harlem?
Not too much.
Next slide, Joy. Air Max 95s. You know, I already talked about this.
My corazón. I love 95s.
Girl, they came out this month, reemerged.
Wait, I missed it?
Neon green, classic. And I think they're coming out with like breast cancer pink.
Ooh.
Right. Can you imagine seeing like the breast cancer walk and everybody got on Amex 9.5s?
Oh, I feel like this is such a New York sneaker.
Absolutely.
Everybody has a pair.
Absolutely.
Or had one. Okay.
Joy. Averex. I'm from Brooklyn, so we didn't really dabble in Averex. You know, you Harlem girlies. I think it was more like Pele and the guys were wearing Averex, were they?
This is Queens. This got to be Queens. Oh, I hate this. I hate this for us.
She said it, y'all, not me.
I was shocked seeing Dipset in it. I hate this. Because when I went uptown, because, you know.
It's Hell Star.
Right.
And Averex. So they did a collab. I'm just going to tell them
okay,
what's going
please.
on. Hellstar, which is a new emerging brand that I think the community, we like it. Or it's kind of like a good, how would you say, streetwear brand.
Right.
They collabed with Averex. I've never worn an Averex. I've never wanted to. No shade. But, every borough has their thing.
It's either Queens or the Bronx.
The Bronx. There you go. The boogie down Bronx.
Is this photo taken in Washington Heights?
Child, next slide, Joy.
Yes.
Pele.
Yes.
You Harlem girl. By heart.
So, Sin is being shady whenever she says Harlem girl because I will always tell people that I'm from Harlem, but I'm not because I'm always up there. So, I feel like honorary.
Where you from? Where the
All right, I am from Queens in New Jersey. But, when you've been all over.
You're from everywhere.
But if my man is from Harlem, I can't say I'm from Harlem?
Not at all. But how you feel about this, though?
So, I love Pele, so I'm here for it.
Okay. I never really got into it, but I do like Who Decides War, so I'm excited to see, what that collab is going to look like.
Next slide, Joy.
Child. So I'm 50-50 with this one.
Oh.
So this is the Takashi Murakami and Louis Vuitton collab. To me, this is like the nostalgic era of Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie. They had every vintage Louis whatever. It was very colorful. It was very fun. To me, this is your whimsical lane. I'm not really into all the color.
So I love colors. I love a pop of color with the outfit, but I don't know.
Not the rainbow
it's not,
trend.
I feel like the bag costs too much for me to be playing around with colors like this. Give me a staple.
I feel you. I'm a classic bag girl
Yeah, give me
all
a
day.
classic bag. It's risky.
Yeah, this is giving
It's a fashion moment.
To me, it's giving very fun, flirty. If you come from a certain family, if you're a child, I'll get you one, the little book bag or I don't think as a grown-up I want to wear this. But I love Louis, and I think that this was very creative. I just, I pass.
It's not for you. I get
Yeah.
it. And that's a wrap for Fashion Tea for now. We hope you had just as much fun as we did because we had a time.
And that's unfortunately the end of the first episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow on all major platforms.
And of course, tune in next week because we'll be talking all about Met Gala and those looks.
Okay, that's enough.
You know what? You're right. You're going to have to tune in for next week's show. Just remember to stay bold, stay chic, and dress like your VIP.